Hello everyone, I Professor Neha Dikshit going to explain you in this video that is the two-dimensional elements. Before this we already seen basic fundamental concept of FEA and one-dimensional elements. Two-dimensional element is unit number 3 in your finite element analysis. First of all we will see introduction. One-dimensional problem in that degree of freedom only along one direction, while two-dimensional planar elements are defined by minimum 3 or more nodes in two-dimensional plane. Two-dimensional analysis include plane stress and plane strain analysis. Even though most engineering problems are three-dimensional in nature, certain cases can be analyzed with sufficient accuracy two-dimensional analysis. Now, when to use two-dimensional elements? Two of the dimensions are very large in comparison to the third one, then we have to use two-dimensional elements. See in this figure, thickness and length is prominent as compared to the third dimension, that is the breadth, then we can use the two-dimensional elements. Element type for the two-dimensional element is quadrilateral element or triangular element. So in short form it is spoken as a chord or tria. Additional data from user required is remaining dimension, that is the thickness. Now, which type of elements are present in analysis software, that is the thin shell, plate, membrane, plane stress, axisymmetric solid, etc. Now, what are the practical applications of the two-dimensional element? Examples are sheet metal parts, plastic components like instrument panel, etc. Now, two-dimensional element shapes. Two-dimensional element shapes, as already told you, that is a triangular element and quadrilateral element. In triangular element, L3, that means 3 nodes are there and also known as constant strain triangle, in short CST. While P6, that is a polynomial, and in that 6 nodes are there, also known as linear strain triangle. In constant strain triangle, as name says, strain is constant for that element, while in linear strain triangle strain is linear for this element. In quadrilateral, 4 noded rectangular element is there and also higher node element, that is the 8 noded rectangular element is also there. Two-dimensional problems are modified as plane stress problem and plane strain problem, and these concepts we are already seen in second unit. Two-dimensional elements are classified again simplex, complex elements. Now first of all we will see simplex elements. Elements that are obtained by joining n plus 1 nodes in n-dimensional space, then that elements are simplex element. Displacement function of such element consists of any constant terms and linear terms. Now suppose n-dimensional space is there, that means two-dimensional space is there, and n plus 1 node, that means 3 nodes are there, then that elements are known as the simplex element. Example, constant strain triangle. Next type or classification is complex element. Displacement function consists of a higher order terms. Such elements have additional boundary nodes and sometimes internal nodes. That means n-dimensional space is there, n plus n nodes are there, or n plus 1, 2, 3 like nodes are there, then that type of elements is known as a complex elements. That is the linear strain triangle. We already seen linear strain triangle having the 6 nodes. So n-dimensional space, that is the two-dimensional space, and more than n plus 1 node, that is the 6 nodes, then it is the example. Next is multiplex element. In this element, boundaries are parallel to the coordinate axis. Example, linear strain rectangle. So we can see in this figure, CST is the simplex element, n-dimensional space, n plus 1 nodes. LST is the complex element, that is the n-dimensional space and more than n plus 1 nodes, that is the 6 nodes. Now we will see local and natural coordinates for the CST element. See in this diagram, in first figure A, local coordinate system for the constant strain triangle are there. In that u1 and v1 are displacement at node 1, while coordinates of node 1 is x1 and y1. Next is at node 2, u2 and v2 is the displacement respectively in x and y direction, while coordinates are x2 and y2 for the second node, and for the third node u3 and v3 are the displacement in x and y direction respectively for the third node, and coordinates are x3 and y3. While in figure B, natural coordinate system for the CST element, at node 1 natural coordinates are 1 and 0 which represent zeta, at node 2 0 and 1 which represent eta, and at node 3 0 0. Next, now we will see the shape functions. I already told you in second unit video, that is the shape functions are the interpolation functions. Now why interpolation functions are required? That is the variation of different properties such as a displacement, strain, temperature, etc. within element is interpolated by using the shape functions. So we require the shape functions. Three shape functions of any point P within element are n1, n2 and n3. One thing you have to keep in mind that suppose element having the three nodes, then you will have the three shape functions. So for the CST element at node 1, n1 is equal to 1, while n2 is equal to 0 and n3 is equal to 0. While at node 2, n1 is equal to 0, n2 is equal to 1 and n3 is equal to 0, and at node 3 n1 is equal to 0, n2 is equal to 0 and n3 is equal to 1. From this we can say that value of shape function for that respective node is 1. So from figure 1 we can say that values of n1, n2 and n3 shape functions and three shape functions of any point P within elements are given by using the natural coordinates, that is n1 is equal to zeta, n2 is equal to eta, while n3 is equal to 1 minus zeta minus eta, because the property is n1 plus n2 plus n3 is equal to. Next, displacement of point in terms of the nodal displacement. So suppose U is the matrix U and V is a displacement vector of any point P within the element, and displacement vector of any point P within the element for the total elements are u1 v1, u2 v2 and u3 v3. Using shape function, displacement of any point P within element can be written in terms of the elemental nodal displacement as U, capital U is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2 plus n3 u3, and this is the isoparametric representation, and n1, n2, n3 are the shape function. Also V, that is the vertical displacement at point P, is equal to n1 v1 plus n2 v2 plus n3 v3. Now above equations can be written as, rearranging the terms, that is U is equal to n1 u1 plus 0 into v1 plus n2 u2 plus 0 into v2 plus n3 u3 plus 0 into v3, because for the horizontal displacement there is no vertical displacement, and same for vertical displacement, horizontal displacement is 0. Now above equation can be written in the matrix form as this: U into V is the function is equal to n1 0, n2 0, n3 0, 0 n1 0, n2 0, n3 in matrix form, multiplied by vertical matrix form is u1 v1 u2 v2 and u3 v3. You will get the above equation same. Next, substituting the value of n1, n2, n3 as zeta, eta and 1 minus zeta minus eta respectively in previous equation, you will get these equations, and rearranging the terms you will get U is equal to u1 minus u3 into zeta plus u2 minus u3 into eta plus u3. Also V is equal to v1 minus v3 into zeta plus v2 minus v3 into eta plus v3. So rearranging the terms again, or you can rewrite U is equal to u13 zeta plus u23 zeta plus u3. Also V is equal to v13 zeta plus v23 eta plus v3. Remember here u13 is u1 minus u3, u23 is u2 minus u3. Also v13 is v1 minus v3 and v23 is v2 minus v3. Now local coordinates of points in terms of nodal displacement. Nodal coordinates. Suppose local coordinate of point P is x and y, and you need to find out. Then according to isoparametric representation and shape functions, you will get x is equal to n1 x1 plus n2 x2 plus n3 x3. Also y is equal to n1 y1 plus n2 y2 plus n3 y3. And putting the value of n1, n2 and n3 as zeta, eta and 1 minus zeta minus eta and rearranging the terms, you will get, see the last equation, x is equal to x13 zeta plus x23 eta plus x3, while y is equal to y13 zeta plus y23 eta plus y. Now we will see local and natural coordinates for the CST element. See, in this diagram, in first figure A, local coordinate system for the constant strain triangle are there. In that, u1 and v1 are displacement at node 1, while coordinates of node 1 is x and x1 and y1. Next is at node 2, u2 and v2 is the displacement respectively in x and y direction, while coordinates are x2 and y2 for the second node, and for the third node u3 and v3 are the displacement in x and y direction respectively for the third node, and coordinates are x3 and y3. While in figure B, natural coordinate system for the CST element at node 1, natural coordinates are 1 and 0, which represent zeta. At node 2, 0. So as x and y, we already know this equation, and from figure 2, from previous equation, del x by del zeta is equal to x13. See this equation, x is equal to x13 into zeta plus x23 into eta plus x3. So derivate this x equation partially with respect to zeta. So you will get del x by del zeta is equal to x13, del x by del eta is equal to x23, del y by del zeta is y13, and del y by del eta is equal to y23. So previous equation for the del u by del zeta and del u by del eta is modified as this. So above equation can be written in the matrix form, that is the del u by del zeta and del u by del eta is equal to, in matrix, x13 y13 it is the first row, and x23 and y23 it is the second row, multiplied by del u by del x and del u by del y. Now this matrix, that is the first row x13 y13 and second row x23 y23 is denoted as capital J in matrix, also known as the Jacobian matrix. Now what is the significance of Jacobian matrix? See here, del u by del zeta and del u by del eta is in natural coordinate form, and del u by del x and del u by del y is in local coordinates form. So if you want to convert local coordinates in natural coordinates, then Jacobian matrix is used, and reverse, if you want to convert natural coordinates into local coordinates, then J inverse is used. J inverse is equal to 1 upon determinant of J in matrix y23 minus y13 minus, in second row, minus x23 and x13. And remember here, what is the x13? It is the x1 minus x3, y13 y1 minus y3, x23 x2 minus x3, and y23 y2 minus y. Now we will see numerical on CST element. Example is the temperatures in degrees Celsius at nodes 1, 2 and 3 are 100, 200 and 300 degrees Celsius respectively, and the coordinates of nodes for the CST elements that of the point P are given below. So node 1, node 2 and node 3 x coordinates and y coordinates are given, and while for point P, x coordinate and y coordinates are also given. Now estimate shape functions and temperature for point P. See here, diagram is not given, you have to draw the first diagram, one CST element, and according to coordinates of node 1, 2, 3, you have to rearrange the triangle, as node 1 is having 0, 0. So from the origin the triangle starts, while node 2 is the 10 and 0 and node 3 is the 5 and 8. So you will get one triangle, and point P, locate point P at x coordinate 5 and y coordinate 6. So these are the given things, and also T1 and T2 and T3, that is the temperatures at node 1, 2 and 3 respectively, it is given. Now you have to calculate the shape function, that is the N1, N2, N3 and temperature for the point P. See here, shape functions are the interpolation functions, and till you cannot calculate the temperature for point P till you will not find the shape function. First of all, you have to find out the shape functions. According to that, use the relation that is the x is equal to n1 x1 plus n2 x2 plus n3 x3, y is equal to n1 y1 plus n2 y2 plus n3 y3. Also, n1 n2 n3 is unknown, so put the value of n1 n2 n3 in terms of the zeta eta and 1 minus zeta respectively, and rearranging the terms, you will get x is equal to x13 into zeta plus x23 into eta plus x3, while y is equal to y1 minus y3 zeta plus y2 minus y3 eta plus y3. Now what is happening here? X and y are the coordinates of the point P, and x1 x2 x3 and are the x coordinates of node 1 2 and 3, and y1 y2 y3 are the y coordinates of the node 1 2 3 respectively, and that are the nodes. So put the value of x y and x1 x2 x3 and y1 y2 y3. So you will get two equation. It is mentioned in the last two equation, that is the minus 5 zeta plus 5 eta is equal to 0, and minus 8 zeta minus 8 eta is equal to 0. That is the equation in terms of the zeta and eta, and these are the two equations, two unknown. Simultaneously you will get the zeta and eta. Now zeta is equal to n1, so you will get 0.125, and eta is equal to n2 is equal to 0.125. So you can easily calculate n3 is equal to 1 minus zeta minus eta is equal to 0.75. Now you have n1 n2 n3 now and t1 t2 t3 now. So using the interpolation function, that is the shape functions, temperature at point P is equal to n1 t1 plus n2 t2 plus n3 t3. Put the values, you will get to 62.5. Thank you for the listening.